Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we are continuing to learn Japanese with Pokémon Snap. Last time we played the 7th course, and so I actually finished the game. We even checked out the staff role, in particular the various roles, and so of course also the accents of those words. And so you might wonder why we are still playing Pokémon Snap. That's because first and foremost we have one Pokémon that we actually haven't photographed yet. I tried doing so, but I failed when we replayed that course, the first course in the game, funny enough. And so today we'll do that. We'll see what happens when we do that. If we have more time in addition to that, I think so, but we'll see, depending of course on the potential writings. Then we still have some additional well, for example, we have the Pikachu and Articuno photo that I tried to take but failed at doing so. And yeah, we might give that one more try, and yeah, that should be it. Otherwise, we could still take some better photos, but yeah, that should be the only major writing left beyond the final Pokemon. But yeah, first and foremost we'll do that. And yeah, without further ado, let's start the game. Yeah, here it is. As you can see here, we saved properly at the title. We went back to the title screen last time. And yeah, we can continue literally from the continuation as usual. Oops. Let's actually take these. Because I noticed that there was a writing that I forgot. Here. Let's okay, do this. And yeah, as you can see, we have something new. First and foremost, Ox says, even with that open mouth, stopped at exactly that moment. But yeah, first he says Matteotta zo toru. And so from Matsu to wait, to await also, but yeah, in our case to wait. It's a verb, code and verb, so we have to follow the rules to make the te form. It's in su, so it becomes double consonant te. Again, continuative form, so ma, ci, te. Actually, at the time, ma, ti, te. Then the e file, and so mat, te. And yeah, so double consonant te, actually. The form required because then we had otta from oru. We have seen it multiple times. It's the verb which means to be, as in to exist. The humble form of iru. Oru accented, iru unaccented. To be, to exist of animate things, and so people and animals. When used on its own, but when used after the te form of a verb, it's an auxiliary used to make signal that it's a continuing action or state. And so yeah, either to be doing the action of the main verb, or to have add the action of the what the verb in te says. But yeah, in this case, simply to be waiting. But then oru is a godan verb of its own. So to make that a form, we have to follow the rules. Becomes here, as we can see, double consonant ta with the small su again, just like double consonant te. Again, the continuative form o ri ta, then the e most likely fell, or ta, difficult to pronounce, so double consonant ta. And yeah, the ta form is so the past form in plain speech of the verb. So yeah, I have been waiting, in our case. Then the usual particle, final sentence particle, so male language to add force. Hi, Siaha. Thank you. No worries. Nice to see you. Stop to even just say hi. Thank you. But yeah, as I was saying, the male term or language to add force. I'd say simply, in this case, as in emphasis. Then the comma, the Japanese comma, notice again that it's different compared to ours. And then the name of our protagonist, Toru. And so yeah, it's simply, I've been waiting, Toru. And then Professor Rock says, Tsuisaki, Pokémon Tsuisaki, Pokémon ga kai kara, renraku ga attan ja ga. First and foremost, we have Tsui, Saki. In this case, an expression. It's a combination of two terms. Well, one with we have tsui, first and foremost, which means just now, quite near. Other meanings, but yeah, these are the fundamental ones. Just now, in our case, tsui accented on the first syllable, well, makes sense. And then we have saki. This I think we have seen before, maybe even in this very series. I don't remember though its accent, and I can find it here. We'll quickly check on the physical dictionary. Yeah, I got the physical dictionary. We quickly check. Now I think we have I remember that we have actually seen it. Well, I know for sure we have seen it before. Don't know if in this very series or a previous one. And that is technically from Saki. Which means point, tip, but yeah, more often than not actually used as in front or before, ahead of. That one is unaccented, I know for sure, and it is. While saki, saki, with the doubling of the consonant, gets a slightly different meaning. And I think was also accent, and so I think we've actually found it before. Yeah, I found it here. And yeah, it was actually accent on the first syllable, saki. So yeah, be careful. And yeah, saki means a short while ago, a moment ago, just now, or by extension some time ago, but yeah, usually a short while ago, a moment ago. And yeah, so we have this tsuisaki expression. I doubt I'll find it as a whole. Hi SKS, nice to see you too. And yeah, yeah, we have professor, non processor, Orchid, because yeah, he had something to say at the very start when we opened the game. But yeah, today we'll finish for Pokémon Snap for sure. We have only one Pokémon left, and yeah, so, and that's what I want to do for sure, and we most likely will be able to do it. If we can, I'll try also to get the Pikachu and Articuno photo this time, for actually. But yeah, first we are checking out what Professor Rock has to say now that we have loaded our save after, of course, having finished the game last time. But yeah, I was quickly checking this, if I can find this expression fully in the physical dictionary. The online dictionary plus plugin doesn't have it, of course. We'll quickly see it. Nope. My best guess would be either on the sa of saki, considering that it's accented on its own, and also considering that this expression technically is a compound, or on the first on the accent of tsui. But yeah, the former guess makes the most sense to me. But yeah, we have this tsuisaki. And yeah, so actually has the same meanings as the two words combined, and so just now, closer to the meaning of tsui on its own. Well, actually both, technically. A little while back, a short time ago, and yeah, so both words have a similar meaning, and yeah, so that's the meaning of this expression. Then we have Pokemon, of course, Pokemon. We have after that Gakkai, which is a Chinese compound, as usual in the sense of a Chinese term of two with two kanji, and so should be unaccented on its own. If follows the rule, yes, it is. Gakkai means learned society, scientific society, or academy. Also, in its other meaning, based on the kanji it uses, academic meeting, academic conference. I'm pretty sure, because I've seen it before in other contexts, that when used, like in this case, as a technical suffix after something else, the accent should be... I doubt I'll be able to find it. But yeah, the accent, I think it would be on the first syllable of kakai, so... and yeah, that should be the accent of such compounds, of actual compounds in the sense of literally longer compounds, we could say, combining more than a word with two kanji at the end in our case, and something else before it. But yeah, so we have this Pokemon Scientific Society Academy. Yeah, in this case, clearly not in the sense of meeting or conference, but yeah, more like a society. Then we have the particle kara, from. Then we have renraku. We'll see if it's also an accented, it's a Chinese compound, means contacting, contact, communication, correspondence, call, message. Yeah, an accented, renraku. Also other meanings, connection, for example, with a train, bus, and so on. Connection between matters, incidents. But yeah, the fundamental meaning is contacting, contact. As in keeping contact, also you hear it. Keep in touch, even though that's not literal. And yet, after that, we have the subject particle ga. We have the verb atta, from aru. Again, to be, as in to exist. In this case of inanimate things, and yeah, in our case, the subject is contact. So yeah, makes sense. It's another verb codon verb, so we have to follow the rules to make the ta form. Again in Ru, so it becomes double consonant ta. After that, we have nza. Again, from noda, the expression we have found so many times already, but yeah, because it's quite used, as you have seen in Japanese. Literally, we have no denominator for verbs, also fact. Ja, in our case, contracted, by the way, in our case, no as n can be done, and yeah, it's often also done, but yeah, you could find also it extended. After that, we have the copula, ja in our case, because again, it's the copula used by all characters in fiction, yeah, so including Hawk. It is that, the fact is that, the explanation is that, and so on. After that, we have ga. In this case, not the subject particle, but a conjunction. Funny enough, its fundamental meaning is but, however. Can also be used as a kind of and in certain contexts, at least in translation, but is often used, as we have seen in this very series, after an introductory remark or explanation. And yeah, so in our case, Hawk introduced the fact is that just now there was aru and also iru, oru can be used as they mean to be, as in to exist, also as there is, there are in English. There was a contact from the Pokémon Academy, Pokémon Scientific Society. Literally learned the society would be even closer technically, as we'll see. Gaku it will be quite important, but we'll see it when the time comes. And yeah, so we got this introduction. Oops, sorry. This one I think we also have in game, so we'll go back there. If I can. And yeah, we have it in game, so we'll go back here. First and foremost, we have Nanto. This exclamation literally comes from Nan, the abbreviated form of Nani, which is the interrogative pronoun that means what. And then we have the to, in this case the quotation particle. And so with a what literally would be, and yeah, so it means what, also how by extension, but yeah. Used both Nanto literally by what, for example, do you call something? But yeah, in our case, simply used as a what at the start of the sentence. What and yeah, other similar translation derived by that. And yes, expected, it's accented on the first syllable, just like nani, nan on its own. After that, we have Pokémon Island no Koshiki Cameraman Score ga Happyo Saretanja. First and foremost, we have Pokémon Island, of course, Pokémon Island, where the game takes place. Then we have the possessive particle no, so of Pokémon Island. After that, we have the noun modified by it, Koshiki. Another Chinese compound, so I hope unaccented as usual, and it is. There technically is more than one, but yeah, this one is most likely the most common one, which is a noun technically, but again, one of those nouns more often than not used as with the genitive case particle, the possessive particle no, and so practically used like an adjective, because its meaning is official, formal. In this case, we don't have the possessive particle because it's implied simply. It's omitted also to avoid repeating it after that Pokémon Island no. Technically you could do it, but yeah, here they omitted it. It's clear even without it, honestly. After that we have cameraman score. So yeah, literally from English, cameraman score. Cameraman, we've already seen. And I think it was actually accented on the man. Actually, sorry, on the ra. because it's considered a compound, and yeah, so accented in this case on the final syllable, on the final more of the first word part of the compound. Another typical spot for accents in compounds, as we have seen. But yeah, we have score. Su ko a. We have to add the u because, of course, Japanese doesn't have s on its own, but being between unvoiced consonants, it's actually barely pronounced, if at all. And so yeah, actually pronounced quite similarly to score, to sk, just like in English. Score, score. And then of course at the end that a, because it's the closest to the sound from English. So yeah, that's why we have it. Its accent is on the ko as expected, and yeah, just like in English, score. Then we have the subject particle ga. We have then happyo, a Chinese compound. So again, I think, and I also hope unaccented, as like most, and it is. Happyo means announcement, publication, presenting, and then similar meanings extended from it: statement, making known. But yeah, so something that is made public, is presented, is announced. Because yeah, as usual, it's a noun, like most of these Chinese compounds, unless they are, of course, adjectives. But we can make the verb, the corresponding verb, by adding suru, the verb literally to do, and so to do an announcement, to do a publication, to do a presenting, yes. So yeah, to announce, to publicate, to present. In our case, we have, instead of simply suru, we have sareta, which is, unfortunately, suru is completely irregular. So we simply have to remember that sareru, also an accented like suru, here we see sare only because of further conjugation. Yeah, sareta sareru is the passive form of suru, and so is done. The passive form is sareru, actually just like other passive forms, is a ru verb, it's a done verb, so we can simply drop the ru and add ta to make the ta form, and so the past form of the verb. And then at the end we have a nja again. And so yeah, we have that what at the start. It is that the official cameraman score of Pokémon Island has been announced, made public, presented. Yeah, all those, whichever translation you prefer. I'd say made public is technically the best case in the best one in this case, but yeah, all similar enough. And yeah, we can continue. And yeah, here then Oak says, 一度のコースチャレンジで合計、何点取れるかを競うもの。人呼んで after the suspension dots 人呼んでbut yeah, let's start with 一度a numeral plus counter combination. We've seen it before. Don't remember if in this series we have do, which is a counter for occurrences. It's a Chinese it's a Chinese counter, and so we use Chinese numerals. In our case, ichi. And so yeah, we have one time, and so once on one occasion. I'll quickly check the accent. Got the other dictionary. In our case, technically there was an accent according to the online dictionary plus plugin combination, but I wanted to mention actually if there's a rule to this counter, as we have seen, and so I got the dictionary that has those. And yeah, we have do. It's worth mentioning that do can be used also as a different kind of counter. One, for example, for degrees. Degrees of temperature, but also degrees of an angle. And depending on its usage, it actually has a different accent. In our case, the one used for occurrences, it actually would have the same kanji, by the way. But yeah. When used for occurrences, it has the accent on do itself for ichido, as the one we have here, just like we have seen. Also for 2, 5, 6. All the other ones, on the other hand, are accented before do. So we have ichido, nido, sando, yondo, godo, rokudo, nanado. Also potentially shichido, but nanado is technically more common. Hachido, kyudo, judo. And yes, so unfortunately not an easy rule in this case. We'll simply have to remember the exceptions, but yeah, we'll see them again when they show up, and we'll repeat them. On the other hand, do, when used for degrees, it's much easier, because as I can see here, it's always accented before do itself. So yeah, we have ichido for once, while we have ichido, ichido, ichido. So on the chi, the accent, low, high, low, for the degrees, 1 degree, and yeah, so on. But yeah, it was worth mentioning because of that. We haven't seen it like that before, only the word on its own. But yeah, in this case we have simply once. Then we have the possessive particle to connect it and modify the following noun, which is course challenge. So yeah, simply course challenge. Course we have already seen accented just like in English previously in this very series. Challenge, I'm not sure if we have seen, so we'll check it again. And it's accented actually on the re, cha, re, nji. So be careful, not like in English, challenge, it's of course in English, so be careful. But yeah, course challenge. Then we have the particle de. In this case, we see also with the rest of the sentence, because technically, with a quick look, it could technically be a location, the locative particle at, in, figuratively, though in that case would be, or the means particle with, but yeah, we'll see better when we translate it fully. Then we have go okay, written as go u ke I, so ou long o, ke I long ke, some still pronounce it as k. But yeah, go okay is a Chinese compound, as you might have guessed, which means sum total amount. I think we have actually seen it before in this series, potentially because of course of the score. But yeah, sum total amount, unaccented, just like other Chinese compounds. Then we have non 10. In this case, it's interesting because it's actually where there could technically be another non-10 as a compound, but yeah, in this case, considering the context, it's most likely the combination of nan, which we have already seen what, nani, from nani, and then 10, which has several meanings, but we have seen it in this series as a point, score, as in a game score. And so literally what points, in the sense of how many points. And yeah, this is something that we can do with, as we have seen, 10 can be considered a counter. And yeah, we can do that with counters if we add none before them. And usually I think accented on the na itself makes sense, just like none on its own, nani on its own. But yeah, it means how many of that counter of, and so how many of things counted with that counter. In our case, how many points. Then we have toreru, from toru, to take. Technically, in this case, I'd say maybe even the general to take instead of the one to take, as in take a photo, which we have seen usually that throughout this series for obvious reasons. But yeah, either way, to take, it's a verb gotten verb, so we can change the u into e and add ru to make the potential form, and so can toreru, also accented, so on the re, on the second to last more. After that, we have the interrogative particle ka, because it's actually used in this case to make an indirect question. How many points can take? We see the rest after of the other parts of this sentence when we fully translate it. But yeah, not as a direct question, and we don't end the sentence there. We include that question in our main sentence, and yeah, so an indirect question. But yeah, signaled because we have this ka to make it a question, and then it's inside another sentence. And because of that, we actually have a following object particle o, written as wo and pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. And yeah, after that, we have kisou, a verb which means to compete, to contend, to contest. By the way, the E is barely heard if at all because it's between unvoiced consonants, so kiso. We'll actually see if it's... okay, it's actually accented, so kisou, kisou. And yeah, we have that. After that, we have mono. We have seen mono as a thing, as in object. By extension, also used as a person, literally calling a person thing, and yeah, usually it's not used on its own. There are other, and of course more polite ways to call, to refer to person, to a person, people or people, but it's used in compounds. Potentially also in this case technically mono can also be used as a quote-unquote particle, even though I'd say it's still from mono as in thing, as a particle, actually more like a conjunction, I'd say, and it also says here I see, or as a conjunction or at sentence end, to indicate a reason or excuse. Also dissatisfaction and so on, but yeah, that's in our case, let's say at most reason or excuse. After that, we have the suspension dots. Then we have hito. Technically could be the Japanese numeral, but yeah, in this case, let's say it's the safest guess. It's that it actually is the word, the fundamental word used in Japanese for person, people also, when we don't specify the plural, even though we should usually for people. But yeah, which is hito, unaccented. After that we have yonde. from most like should be from Yobu. Technically could be also from with yo nde. We've seen that nde is the third form of verbs in bu, mu, or nu. In nu doesn't exist. There is one which is in mu, yomu, but it means to read. This one more likely it's from yobu, unaccented. Yomu should be accented, but we'll quickly check. And it is. But yeah, this one, yobu, unaccented, means to call out, to call. Other extended meanings, but yeah, the fundamental meaning, to call. Again, it's a verb, because a verb in bu, we have to follow the rules, it becomes nde. Again, because we have first and foremost the continuative form, b, then the e most likely fell, so b, which was actually prenasalized at the time, so it was mbu, mb, and yes, so actually the nasal remained. It made voiced, and so actually prenasalized at the time te, and so de, so nde at the time, and so yeah, we have now literally n on its own and de. So my guess for this, the translation of this, is that it's a mono at the end, which used as the particle conjunction, sentence end in our case, for reason or excuse. Or technically could be mono as in person, and so simply modified by the previous verb as a relative clause actually, and so everything before it. But yeah, overall the translation would should be call people. Technically we have the te form at the end there. The usual usage there is as a contraction of the te kudasai form, and so please do imperative in polite form, te kudasai actually, so again make the favor of doing the action of the verb, but we won't mention it further in this case. Yeah, please call people. And then we have to go back and we have this compete with at one in our case, in translation it's better, or for once a colors challenge of where to add that how many points in total they implied the people can score, the cameraman we have seen before. And so yeah, in short, even though there are some parts that aren't completely clear, it's simply saying that there's this competition between the cameramans with the course challenge, the course challenges, of course plural because there are multiple courses, and yeah, the competition is how many scores in total the cameramans can take, as in get, and yeah. So yeah, the Pokemon Association, the Scientific Society, the Pokemon Academy, talk about this competition. Yeah, so we can proceed, and yeah, this is what is telling us that now we have also this goal. And yeah, as we can see here, now we also literally have the terms. Challenge score za. Well, we continue. First we have this challenge. It's challenge score. So challenge score between quotes to define it. It's the name of this. And yeah, then after that the copula simply ja again. So it's the challenge score. Literally it would be it's the quote-unquote challenge score because it's its name. Kosu ni iku toki ni toru no high score to. Yeah, then it says we have course, again course. Then we have ni. In this case, the particle, which means direction, even better in the sense of destination, unlike e written as he, which is a simple direction, used with verbs of movement, like in our case, iku, unaccented, which means to go. After that, we have toki, time, as in moment, occasion, should be accented on the last syllable. We have seen it before. Then after it we have the ni particle used for specific time, moments, for a specific time, at a specific time. Technically we have a verb before a noun. Toki is a noun. And yeah, by the way, accented on the last syllable, I can confirm it. So literally would be relative clause plus noun modified by it. Modified by the relative clause. But yeah, in practice, when we have this a verb plus toki, often with ni, sometimes also it stops there and we add simply a comma, as we see. But yeah, can be translated simply as when, literally the time in which one goes, you go in our case, and so on. When you go. Then we have Toru, the name of our protagonist, the possessive particle no. Then in between other quotes and in yellow to put the emphasis on it, high score. So yeah, simply high score. So yeah, we simply have a high from English in this case, in addition. Should be accented on the first syllable, just like in English, and it is. Then we have to as a particle. Could be technically a quotation particle. In this case, my guess would be actually the particle which means and, used to connect two words, two nouns, to specify as it's used with nouns. but we'll see, of course, when we continue. Yeah. So far, it says, well, it's the challenge score, as we said. When you go literally at the moment, at the time in which you go to the course, Toru, the protagonist's high score, and that's why I guess that then it will say and something else, which we'll now see. And yeah, as we can see here, and yeah, so it was and Densetsu no cameraman no Kiroku challenge score o mireru yo ni shite oita zo. And yeah, first and foremost, we have Densetsu. We've funny enough seen it before in a previous series, because Densetsu means legend, unaccented. It's a Chinese compound. And yeah, it's the one used in Legend of Zelda in Japanese. Zeruda no Densetsu. And yeah, Zelda's Legend. Or Legend of Zelda. But yeah, in our case, Legend. But then we have the possessive particle no, the genitive case particle. And yeah, it's yet another noun that takes that particle and can be used in practice like an adjective, and so legendary. In our case, cameraman, again, cameraman. Then we have another possessive particle, no. Yeah, here you can see that you can technically use no and then another term with no. And yeah, in this case required, because then we have another noun, Kiroku. Funny enough, the usual one we have seen also, we can see on the bottom left corner as the option. In that case, it's recording, record, but in the sense of saving. In our case, Kiroku, in this case, it's literally as record, as in a record in sports, and as in the points in our case. And yeah, Kiroku, another Chinese compound, and luckily unaccented as usual. And yeah, after that we have again, between quotation, challenge score, so challenge score, and yeah, so the challenge score record. Then we have the object particle o. Then we have mireru, which comes from miru. Which is miru means to see, to look at, to watch. It's a ru verb, it's a verb. So to make the potential form, like in our case, we drop the ru and add ra, re, ru. Or if you prefer, you drop the u and add a, mi, ra, and then re, ru. Technically, also in this case, it's since it's a verb, it's a verb. Also the passive form of the verb. But yeah, in our case, it's definitely considering also the context, the potential form. You might remember before from previous episodes, also of this very series, we've seen another potential form technically of miru, mieru. Also accented, by the way, so mi, e, ru, low, high, low. That one in the sense of to be seen, to be visible, to be in sight. in our case, it's and that's why we also have this form. It's more literal in the sense can see as you can see. And by the way, the usual form would be mi, ra, re, ru. But yeah, we can drop the ra to make it shorter, to contract it. And yeah, also it helps because we can distinguish it that way from the passive form, because technically they're identical, but yeah, often for the potential you can drop the ra. And yeah, after that we have yo. Again, the noun we have seen multiple times: form, style, way, way to, method of, doing. For nouns, also after nouns, well, following nouns, sorry, better. Also like, similar to, following verbs, appearing, looking. But in our case, as we have seen before, it's yo, ni, with the verb suru. And so make it so that you, implied, can see, can look at. And yeah, we have already seen this form, potential form of the verb, and then yoni. Yeah, so in that sense. Yeah, and then we have suru. Here in its third form, unfortunately, again, it's completely irregular, so we have to remember that the form of suru is ste. The form required because then we add oita. Actually, from oku, should be an accented. It's as a verb on its own means to put, to place, other extended meanings. But yeah, used after the form of a verb with the meanings to do something in advance. Literally would be to put for future usage. Figuratively put, of course. The other meaning is to leave something in a certain state, to keep something in a certain state. But yeah, in our case, and the most common one is to do something in advance. Yeah, we have seen multiple times throughout this very series. Oku, it's a verb, code and verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. It's in ku, so it becomes I, ta. Again, continuative form first, so ki, ta. Then the k most likely fell, and so I remained oita. And then so at the end again. But yeah, so the translation becomes I made it I implied, because it's okay speaking, made it for future usage, so that you, implied, can look at. We have seen before when you go to the course Torus score, Torus high score, and the challenge score, the record of the legendary cameraman, the challenge score. And yeah, so we have finally seen the conclusion of the sentence. We've started in the previous part. And yeah, after that, Professor Oak says, Gambarunja zo. And then after that also the name of our protagonist, Toru, and then the period, a circle in Japanese. First and foremost, we have Gambaru, a verb, technically a compound verb, which means to persist, to keep at it, to do your one's best, literally to stick, to stubbornly stick. And so yeah, in the sense to persevere and so on. Then nza again, no da, zo, and yeah, so it is that you should, implied, do your best. Toru, the name of our protagonist. Then Professor Oak says, Subete no Charenji Koa o Koeru no ja. First we have subete. A noun nowadays, even though, as you can see with the te at the end, it's actually from at a form of a verb. The verb would be suberu, which means, well, also to this one, because there's another one that's unrelated. But yeah, this one would be the one to rule over, to govern, to command, to control. Even though that meaning isn't related to this. The one that interests us is to integrate, to consolidate, to unite, to incorporate. And yeah, because of that, the form of it, subete, accent on the first syllable, and so yeah, regular for the form. Third to last syllable, from third to last more. And yeah, because of that, to unite, to consolidate, and so on, we have the meaning of this noun: everything, all, the whole. More often than not, used like in this case with the no particle, the possessive particle, the genitive case particle, and so again another noun plus the possessive particle used in practice as an adjective. So all of something. Also used on its own as an adverb without adding any particles. Entirely, completely, wholly, all. Yeah, in our case, as an adjective. All, and then following challenge score. All challenge scores. Then the object particle o. Then we have the verb koeru. I think unaccented, but we'll check. Means to. There are technically two meanings, depending on which kanji you write it with usually. One which means to cross over, to cross, to pass through, and so on, go beyond, to go past. The other meaning is to exceed, to surpass, to be more than. And yeah, you can see why it is, we actually use technically the same word, even though it can be specified with the kanji when using those. But yeah, in our case, it's most likely in the to surpass, to exceed. And yeah, at the end we have noja again. And yeah, by the way, koeru unaccented. So yeah, the meaning is, it is that you, again imply should, surpass all the challenge scores. And yeah, so that's that. I think it will, it ends here. And yeah, so technically you can do that after finishing the game, you get these challenge scores. But yeah, we'll quickly take our usual break, around 5 minutes. And when we'll be back, we'll actually replay the first course to get the final Pokemon. We won't tackle the challenge scores. And yeah, see you in around 5 minutes. And we are back. And yeah, now we can continue and actually replay the first course as mentioned. And yeah, here you can see we don't have actually anything to read because we have already seen them. At the top, high score. So the high score, my high score, 0 currently because it you get them starting after finishing the game. Then we have the challenge score, the challenge score. And yeah, that's the legendary cameraman's score. So yeah, the score you should try to surpass as mentioned. But yeah, not much to say. Yeah, it's what Oak explained, and yeah, we see it in practice. So yeah, without further ado, let's start the first course. Course as usual, this is our protagonist. And yeah, I of course still try to get some photos while we're at it. We go slowly anyway, since honestly don't want to risk. Hope I can finally get a good Butterfree here, by the way. I'll take the Pikachu, even though, okay, these are good Butterfrees. Nice, nice. Ah, too bad that I missed the upper stair. Okay, now I can take it. Perfect. Yeah, we technically had those Butterfrees even two there, so it would have been really nice. But yeah, we take now this picture of Snorlax, the not dancing one. I think we'll actually get a new writing because of that. And yeah, now we have this part where we can actually find the new Pokemon. As you can see by the these leaves. Unfortunately, it's not easy to actually spot where the Pokemon is. Okay, but I did it. Yeah, we have Scyther. And yeah, because of that, also these Pikachus come out. And yeah, we can take this special photo of Pikachu. So yeah, it was quite important also because of that. And yeah, here we can see more leaves. And yeah, there's actually Scyther also here, if I can get it. Here it's honestly even more difficult, I think, to get it. And yeah, we failed. But yeah, the other one was more important because, again, of the Pikachus. Because as you might have guessed, it's yet another special photo for Pikachu. Not too bad for the Lampress there. Okay. Actually save them out here. I try to quickly get also a Magikarp here. It's pretty nice since it's quite close. Yeah, so we quickly played the course, but yeah, so we finally got the final Pokemon, which is the most important thing. And also the Pikachu photo, potentially the Snorlax, maybe something else that I'm not completely sure, but yeah. Yeah, there we get the score. That's our high score. And yeah, for those you want to take all photos, because they all count, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, doesn't interest us that in particular. Yeah, no, we'll go with the usual PG. Don't think there will be much difference. We try with these two duo. Let's see a decent Butterfree. Yeah, these ones. Okay. The biggest one. This one is risky. Let's go with this one. Close, because of course we want it in the center if possible. And not get the Lapras, of course, but it doesn't matter. We'll show one just to see it. The Snorlax. This one is technically bigger, but it's slightly cut off. We'll try with it anyway. Meowth. We'll actually choose later the ones at the end. But yeah, more importantly, we have Scyther. Unfortunately, facing the other way around, so not the best. We'll try this one. But yeah, more importantly, we have the Japanese name of Scyther, which is actually quite simple. It's literally just Storaiku. Again, the U at of Su, barely heard if at all because it's between unvoiced consonants. Also technically, potentially the one at the end, because it's at the end as a unvoiced consonant before it. But yeah, the one of Su, practically guaranteed. The other one, potentially, depending on the context. But yeah, simply Storaiku, strike from English. So, quite easy. And yeah, there's not... I quickly checked Bulbapedia, but yeah, it says also that it literally strike. Yeah, so... not much else. And yeah, luckily accented on the Ra. So yeah, as expected, just like in English. Strike. Storaiku. And yeah, of course, in Japanese usually used more for striking sports in baseball or in bowling. But yeah, so strike. Yeah, we've already chosen it. Yeah, we finally have this the Pikachu, this special Pikachu. These are slightly further away. I'll actually choose the very first one. Hope it counts. Yeah, we have Kangaskhan. We go for this one. Also a funny face. We try one of these dancing, quote-unquote dancing, because we saved Meowth. This one, for example, even though I'm not sure. Okay, we try with this Magikarp. Not the best, I think, but yeah, doesn't matter. Well, I want to save this face. Technically also the Pikachu. Not the best ones. I choose the closest one, this one. But yeah, with that, I'd say we can go to the professor as usual. And see how he rates our photos and of course the new writings. We have a PG at first, almost identical. And yeah, same points. We'll keep the original one. This one is quite similar, but technically it's less cut off. But no. Actually worse, because it barely doesn't count as in the middle, so we keep of course the older one. We're finally a decent Butterfree. Yeah, we get a perfect pose finally. And also bigger size, even though not perfect. And so also the doubling, because we didn't stop at the pose. Yeah, much better picture. Yeah, really bad picture of Lapras. Yeah. Yeah, Oshino, as usual. You were close in English, but in Japanese, regrettable, unfortunate, disappointing. Okay. Can continue. Okay. So, should there, but it's now fixed. Okay, now we have this, which is a different writing, even though it's not in yellow. Makes sense, also considering that it's technically simply a perfect pose, but not a special one. We don't get more points for it. But yeah, it still says something that I'm pretty sure we haven't seen before. It says, Onaka o pori pori kaiteoru zo. First and foremost, we have Onaka, which you might we've technically seen its components before. O, the usual honorific prefix, and then we have this Naka, technically from Naka, which we have seen before for inside, interior, middle, center, also by extension among, within, and several other meanings. But in this case, it's usually written, when written with kanji, with a different kanji, because its meaning means, and it's technically, it's a polite term, as we can see also because of the honorific prefix, for belly, abdomen, stomach. And yeah, literally would be your one's inside, as in one's belly, one's stomach. By the way, even though Naka on its own would be accented on the first syllable, this one is unaccented, Naka. And yeah, so be careful. And yeah, so actually has this meaning, and it actually uses the kanji used for abdomen, belly, stomach, which gets this special reading in this case, because its usual strictly Japanese reading would be hara, accent on the last syllable, so okay, correct. And yeah, that's the usual word technically for abdomen, belly, stomach. But yeah, we have this onaka, which is the corresponding polite form of this word. And yeah, after that we have the opposite particle o. Then we have pori pori. As you might have guessed, from its sound and it being repeated, it's an onomatopoeia. Hopefully it's accent on the first syllable like most of those, and it is pori pori. Which can mean funny considering that both could apply to this Pokemon, even though in different contexts. Munching, crunching, or, and this is actually our the meaning for in our case, considering that context, lightly scratching an itch, or scratching in our case a body part. By the way, there's also another form with the b instead, so bori bori. But yes, same meanings. The only difference, and it makes sense again, considering what I mentioned also before about onomatopeias in Japanese, that there are some that can have an unvoiced version, which means that the action is that the meaning of the onomatopoeia is less intense. So yeah, that's why the dictionary says for pori pori, lightly scratching. Because when it's voiced, instead we have a more emphatic meaning. And so yeah, in that case, scratching not lightly but quite intensely, we could say, and each body part. And yeah, in our case, lightly. And yeah, after that we actually get kaite. So from the verb kaku, we've seen actually both, I think, before in this series. Well, not this series, in maybe in a previous one. But yeah, the most common verb for kaku would be to write with a certain kanji, also to draw, to paint. But yeah, that's clearly unrelated. This one is a different kaku, which uses a completely different kanji, and yeah, has a different meaning. The one which we see here is the fundamental one, which is to scratch. And yeah, so we get... now we can see why it used that onomatopoeia. We've seen it before, for sure, because of the expression ase okaku, because by extension, to scratch becomes also to perspire, and so to perspire, sweat, ase, accent on the first syllable, means sweat, and yeah, that's why. But yeah, here we have to scratch, so its actual meaning. Ohayo gozaimasu, Kiki, 2099. And yeah, yeah, we're checking, we are going through Professor Oak's check. We're checking out this new writing we see here. And yeah, as I was mentioning, we have kaku in its step form. Again, it's a verb, colon verb, so we have to follow the rule. It's in curso, it becomes ite, and after that oru, and so again, continuing action, or state, in our case, continuing action. And last but not least, the final sentence part goes on. And so yeah, it simply means it's lightly, and that's why we have also pori pori, to signal that it's a light scratch. It's lightly scratching its belly. It's of course implied. And yeah, so we get that. The dubbing, perfect. But yeah, unfortunately it's actually not as good. We finally see we have the cider. Yeah, unfortunately the pose not good because it's facing the other way around. Oshino, but yeah. What matters is that it counts. And yeah, we get a korewa here. Because it's Kirikabu Pikachu. Well, apart from Pikachu at the end, of course, we have this Kirikabu, which is a noun, a compound noun. First and foremost, we have Kiri from Kiru, the verb, which means to cut. We've already seen it before. It's a U-verb, code and verb, despite being in Iru. So be careful, you unfortunately just have to remember it. But yeah, being that to make the continuative form, we have to change the U into I. So Kiri, accent on the last syllable, so regular. And yeah, in our case, it's in the meaning of cutting. In other cases, we have seen that Kiri as a noun, it's the continuative form used as a corresponding noun, means also end, finish, as in cutting off at a certain point, the cutting off point. But yeah, after that, we have kabu. Actually, an accent, so kabu. It means stamp, which is the original meaning, a tree stamp. Other meanings, related ones, but yeah, the fundamental one would be stamp, the original meaning. And so yeah, when combined with kiri, again, in our case, cutting, cut, yeah, we have a kirikabu, which means simply tree stamp. And yeah, so simply, just to further specify it, yeah. And by the way, kirikabu is accented on the ri. And so yeah, as usual, a typical spot for the accenting compounds. In this case, on the last syllable, there's more of the first noun part of the compound. And yeah, so kiri, kabu. Low, high, low, low. And yeah, so we have literal would be tree stamp Pikachu. In English, it became a Pikachu on a stamp. And yeah, pretty funny either way. Yeah, it counts as a special picture because it's something unusual technically. And yeah, we get a lot of points actually. Quite a high score, almost as much as our flying Pikachu. Yeah, but the size is not the best, the balls actually the same in that case. We technically actually get in this case some additional points because of the additional Pikachu, but yeah, of course, flying Pikachu is still better for now. We have this Kangaskhan. And yes, still, we've seen it before, should be the same writing. The fact that it's angry is very good. Doubling off the points. So yeah, actually the same. So I, in this case, I'll actually keep the original one where it's even clearer that it's angry. Okay, and good thing I got this one because it has a special pose and also more points technically. And yeah, it simply says O Odoru Nyasu Jana. Yeah, first and foremost, O as usual, the exclamation just like O in English. Then we have Odoru. We have seen it as the verb used in this game for to dance. Technically, there's also mau in Japanese, actually an accented one, so mau. While this one is also an accented, sorry, so odoru, mau. But yeah, in Pokémon Snap, and in this case it makes sense, it's perfect for odoru. Because it's originally a hopping dance. But yeah, we have only seen that one in this game. Mau is technically a whirling dance originally. Yeah, technically the distinction is still there. But yeah, we have the verb, then the following noun. So actually, again, a relative clause. Here we don't have a clause, so simply a verb in attributive position modifying the following noun, which is nyasu, Meowth, Japanese name. Identical formation as we have seen. Then ja, the copula, and na as the final sentence particle. Again, na could be either with its meanings or as a replacement of ne or yo. In this case, I'd say more ne, so in the sense of right, isn't it? And yes, so oh, it's a dancing Meowth, isn't it? Right. Better if it isn't. Well, actually, isn't it better in this case to avoid the confusion with actual usages with the negative closer to if it isn't. We have actually seen them, I think, even in this series, but yeah, we'll see them again for sure. Doubling of the points, so actually a better picture. Nice. This I have doubts, but we're trying it anyway. Okay, actually better. Yeah, we have seen this writing before, that it's jumping with a good feeling, literally. Too bad that it's not, it doesn't count as in the middle of the picture, so the other picture is better because of that, otherwise it would have been better. And yeah, as expected, we get another Jitsuwana because we got all the Pokemons. And so yeah, we have to go back to the lab to hear what Pok has to say. Yeah, the usual "Ya okairi," welcome back in English. And yeah, Oak says, Toto, Pokémon Repoto ga kanseja. First and foremost, we have Toto, an adverb, which means finally, at last, in the end, ultimately. Accent on the first syllable, despite being technically a Chinese compound, so be careful. Then we have Pokémon Repoto, so Pokémon report, the subject particle ga. Then we have Kansei, a Chinese compound, in this case I think regular, so unaccented. It means completion, perfection, accomplishment also says the dictionary, but yeah, completion is the fundamental meaning. Unaccented as expected. In this case, well, technically, often found also with the additional suru, again to make it a verb, literally to do completion, and so to complete. In our case, it's kind of like, technically in Japanese would be still a noun plus, then we have ja, the copula. Here could be also translated kind of like an adjective, or better, we could still keep it as a noun, as in the sense, at last, finally, the Pokémon report is perfection, so is complete. In that sense, we can consider it, translate it as an adjective. And yeah, then after that he says Yoku yatta zo. And yeah, first and foremost we have Yoku from Yoi, I. I, the form used nowadays usually without, when not conjugating it. Yoi comes back to conjugate it. Like in this case, we drop the I, it's a adjective, we drop the I and add ku to make the adverbial form, and in this case it's literally the adverb. I, Yoi means good, and so the adverb is well, nicely, and so on. Then we have yatta, from the verb yaru, means to do, is a colloquial form of suru, also has several other extended meanings, in our case simply to do. It's a verb, golden verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. It's in rules, so it becomes double consonant ta. And yeah, so it's the past form of the verb, and so yeah, literally, you did well. And yeah, at the end, of course, again, so as the final sentence particle. And we got to hear Professor Rock say omedeto. We'll see it in a second. First, he says Toru koso shin no Pokémon cameraman za. First, we have Toru, the name of our protagonist. Then we have koso. A particle, which means it is that. Better translations, clearer translation is precisely, in particular, definitely, for sure. And yes, simply used to, it emphasizes the preceding word or phrase. And so yeah, in our case, means it's precisely Toru, our protagonist. Then we have Shin. In this case, it should be technically it could be different ones, but I think it should be this one. Shin, as in the one from on its own, means truth, reality, genuineness, other extended meanings, but yeah, the fundamental one is truth. Used again, and you can see it also here, as a noun with the genitive case particle, not the possessive particle, in practice like an adjective, so the true something, the real something. In our case, Pokémon cameraman, so the true, the real Pokémon cameraman, as in the real deal. And yeah, last but not least, we have the copula, so yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, it's exactly, it's precisely Toru, the true Pokémon cameraman. And after that, it says what we heard, also with the voice, omedeto. Technically, an abbreviation of the expression omedetou gozaimasu. We check both the accent of both. But yeah, the meaning is congratulations, well done. Also as in, but yeah, the fundamental meaning usually used for congratulations, well done, and so on. Omedetou on its own, unaccented. I quickly see if I can find here the accent also of the. Well, I'd say with the gozaimasu simply on the mas, as usual for verbs in with the mass in the polite form. It's worth mentioning that it's how we get to this form. It comes from an adjective, medetashi. Notice that medetashi is technically the classical form of the adjective. Notice the shi at the end. We've seen it before in yosh, for example, from I, yoi, used nowadays as an exclamation, as in good, okay. So yeah, the adjective medetai, which means happy, as in more, as in auspicious, propitious, joyous. By the way, it's used in the classical form, medetash, repeated twice, at the end of fables and so on, at the end of stories, just like and they all lived happily ever after. So yeah, literally in Japanese is simply joyous, literally, or however you want to translate it based on the translations I mentioned for medetai. And yeah, we have that, medetai. Of course, first and foremost, we have the honorific prefix again, o, which we have already seen. Then we would drop the i and add ku to make the adverbial form. In this case, required to then attach the verb gozaru. Gozaru is, I think it's accent, but we'll quickly check. Means to be, as in to exist. Actually is the polite form of aru. And then we would, accent, by the way, gozaru. We would make the continuative form. It's one of those honorific verbs that are an exception. Instead of changing the u into i, we have to drop the ru and add i, or better, most likely it was ri at the start, go za ri. But then, actually the r fell, and so remained go za i. And yeah, this is the continuative form nowadays, gozai. Continuative form required to then add mas, the auxiliary used to make the polite form of verbs in the present affirmative. We would have to conjugate mas to make then the other forms. Past, negative, and so on. After that, we also have the change that the k of the ku dropped, and so me de ta u. But because of the evolution of the language, ta u became to u, and so actually long to, long o. And yeah, that's how we get then simply omedeto gozaimasu. Or in our case, the abbreviation, so simply omedeto unaccented. And yes, so that's the origin of that word, quite important, wanted to mention it. And yeah, so congratulations. And that's why we also hear the ok literally said with the voice. And yeah, after that, Professor Ox says, mo washikara wa nani mo iu koto wa nai. First and foremost, we have mo. In our case, it would be mo, as we have seen before, means already. Also other meanings like further, more, but yeah, in our case would be, in this case would be already, but we actually have a negative verb, so actually in the sense not anymore, not any longer. And yeah, then after that we have washi, unaccented. It's the first person singular pronoun used by older characters. And yeah, of course, like ok, an abbreviation of watashi. The I used informal contexts. Watashi, the fundamental form of I in contemporary Japanese. And yeah, we then get further contraction washi. Kara, then the particle means from me. Then we have another particle, wa, the topic particle, wa written as ha. And yeah, so as for from me, not anymore. Then we have nanimo, again nani as what. When we add the inclusive particle mo, we actually make the form any, whatever the meaning of the interrogative pronoun is. In this case, would be anything. From what it becomes thing. Anything, often, more often than not, with a negative verb, and so not anything, and so nothing. But yeah, literally in Japanese it's like in English when we make negative verb plus anything. And notice that anything, because and that's why any, and that's why we have the inclusive particle. But yeah, not anything, nothing. Then we have you, the verb which means to say, often pronounced, sometimes also written as you, unaccented. After that we have the noun koto, thing as in matter, accent on the last syllable. Technically also another nominalizer for verbs, just like no. Then we have again the topic particle wa. In this case, actually used as often it's used with negative verbs, and that's why we use it in this case. More as in the as for and yeah, negative verb. Actually here we have the negative adjective nai, non-existent, also used actually, and in this case being the sense, as the negative form of aru, which is the verb which means to exist, as we have mentioned, to be as in to exist of inanimate things. But since there's already this adjective nai, which means non-existent, we don't conjugate aru to make the negative, we simply replace it with it. Yeah, so the meaning is, as for from me, there isn't anything anymore to say anything. Literally in this case we could say with that koto, to say. And yeah, then we get the suspension dots. We can continue. Then Professor Oak says, 自分でこれはいい between quotations と思ったものにシャッターを押せば それで良いのじゃ。And first and foremost, we have 自分. Technically, a Chinese compound. We'll see if it's actually accented like that, unaccented. It means myself, better oneself, and then by extension, of course, depending on who's speaking, or who we are talking about, myself, yourself, and so on. 自分, yeah, unaccented. Then we have the particle de. We've seen it often associated with these words like, in our case, oneself. By oneself would be, in our case, by yourself, by myself. Also used with the terms hitori, for example, one person. So, on one's own, as one person, that literally could be technically, and would make sense, that a form of the copula, being by myself. But yeah, after that we have literally between quotations in this case. First and foremost, kore, again from the Kosovo series, ko goes to both the speaker and the listener. So far from the speaker goes to the listener, far from both. Do the interrogative. Koso are usually unaccented, do accent on the first syllable, so on do itself. With the re, we get kore, unaccented, as mentioned. So this, as in the demonstrative pronoun. Then we have the topic particle wa, as for this. Then the adjective e, which I mentioned. And so, as for this, it's good. And then after that we have to, and so the quotation particle. Yeah, we have a literal direct quotation in this case. Then we have the verb omotta, from omou, which is the verb to think. Other translations extended meanings from that, but yeah, the fundamental one is to think. It's a u verb codant verb, so we have to follow the rules to make that a form. It's in u, so it becomes double consonant ta, again because the verbs in u were actually in fu, or better in pu at the time, so the continuative form omopi, then the e fell, omopta, and yeah, difficult to pronounce, became simply a double consonant ta. After that, we have mono, so actually relative clause, and then modifying related to mono. In this case, thing, generic, things, better, plural. Then we have the particle ni. To, we see in which sense when we see the verb. For, we could say, yeah, so. But yeah, then we have shatta, shutter from English, of course, because we are talking about taking photos, the camera shutter, accented just like in English on the first syllable, shatta. Then we have the opposite particle o. Then we have oseba, from osu. Again, we've seen it multiple times before, even in this series. It means, comes from osu, unaccented, means to push, also used for to push buttons. It's a verb, codant verb, so we can change the u into e, and then to add ba, and make one of the forms of the conditional. If, or also when, also with a temporal meaning. This is the closest one to the first conditional in English, although of course there are exceptions. And yeah, after that we have sore, so that, again the pronoun, de, in this case let's say either with that, or again the form of the copula, so being that. And yeah, after that we have joy, again I, so good, and then no già. And yeah, so the translation becomes if, when, well, better if I'd say in the if you press the shutter for things that you thought, and then we have the quote of what of the thought. This is good, this is nice. On your own, by yourself, better, sorry, by yourself. Yeah, the meaning is that. That's good. And yeah, so simply that. It doesn't have any more thing more to teach us, to tell us. And yeah, so when we think that something is good on our own, then and we take the photo, then yeah, that's good. Yeah, we can continue. And yeah, after that, Professor Oak says, この島の研究も長いようで短かったな。First and foremost, we have kono, so the demonstrative adjective, this, followed by a noun, which is shima in our case, island, we've already seen it, of course, considering the setting of the game, accent on the last syllable, this island. Then we have another possessive particle, we have a possessive particle no. After that we have kenkyu, finally we see it on its own. More often we have seen it as a part of kenkyujo. Research, study, investigation, by a fundamental meaning research. An accent is a signing compound. We have the inclusive particle mo. Then we have nagai, an adjective. Long, both of distance or length. Also long of time. In our case, let's say of time, of course, considering the context. And then we have yo with this de, which most likely is the form of the copula in this case. And so yeah, in the sense of it seems that, it appears that, but after that we get mijikakatta from mijikai, which is the adjective, which means the opposite, short. Short, brief. Accented also, by the way. It's a adjective, so we can drop the I and add katta to make the past form of the verb. Technically, katta is actually a contraction of ku atta. Ku, again, we drop the I, add the ku to make the adverbial form. In this case, we require to then add the verb aru in its past form, so atta. And so, yeah, mijika ku atta, past form of the adjective. But yeah, actually, nowadays we have two contracted always, so katta, mijika katta, so it was short, brief. Then the final sentence part con even also the research of this island was brief, was yeah, in this case, as in it seemed long, and yet it was short, brief in that sense. And yeah, last but not least, I think we are close to the end. Professor Oak then says, Tetsudatte kurete arigato toru yo. Then after that, of course, toru yo simply, again, name of our protagonist, and yo as in hey, to call the protagonist as a vocative. But yeah, before that we have Tetsudatte from Tetsudau. Technically a compound verb from te, the noun which means hand, accented on its own, with this tsudau usually not used with that tsudau on its own, yeah, found only with this te in this compound. Technically there's a tsutau, an accented on its own, which means to go along, to walk along, to follow. But yeah, this one means tetsudau, actually accent by the way, to help, to assist, to aid, to contribute to be a factor in. So yeah, the fundamental meaning to help, to assist. We make that a form, again it's a verb, because a verb it's inu, so we have to follow the rules, it becomes double consonant te. That form required because then we had kurete from kureru, one of the verbs of giving, the one used when someone else gives to the speaker or someone close to them. In this case, of course, after that a form of a verb in the sense of making the favor of doing the action of the verb in te. Then kureru is a ru verb, it's an verb, so we can drop the ru and add te to make that a form of it. In this case required because then after that it says arigato, and yeah, which is the way is thank you in Japanese. Actually, again, this one is on its own is accent on the arigato. Again, abbreviation of arigato gozaimasu. So again, the part at the end to from kataku gozaimasu. Arigato comes from the adjective, compound adjective arigatai. Literally, ari from aru, the verb to be as in to exist. The continuative form by changing the u into i. And then we had gatai, not the one used nowadays, but it still has that meaning. It's the adjective which means difficult, hard when added to a verb. The one used nowadays is nikui for most verbs. Yeah, this form has gatai. Notice also the voicing of the consonant because it's the second part of a compound and is of strictly Japanese origin. Literally difficult to exist. And so, actually, unlike what I mentioned, I think in a previous series, in the sense that it's something special, something we could say rare in a way, and so by extension worth of being grateful for for that. And yeah, that's why arigatai means grateful, thankful, and so on. And yeah, so why we then get arigato gozaimasu to say thank you. Here in its shortened form, arigato. And we have already said what toruyo means. Then we have kokoro kara kansha shi toru zo. First and foremost, we have kokoro, which means mind, heart, spirit. This one literally more often than as in the heart, and then by extension mind, spirit. Accent on the final syllable. There are actually various others pronounce it with the accent on the second ko, so in the middle kokoro. But yeah, it depends. Quickly checking the physical dictionary, but we'll see which one that one says first. Yeah, here. Yeah, technically, the one in the middle would be the standard one, but there is also this one at the end, kokoro. Then we have kara, so from. And then we have kansha, a Chinese compound. So I think actually in this case, accent on the first syllable, and it is, so be careful. It means thanks, or better, gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness. And yes, so we can then, of course, make it, it's a noun, but we can make the verb with suru, and so to do appreciation, and so to thank. And yes, so we get to thank. Here, suru is actually first, we make that a form, it's completely irregular, so it becomes shite. And then we add oru, so continuing state, action or state, and then it gets contracted, so shitoru. But yeah, so I'm thanking you from my heart. And yeah, so can continue. And yeah, again, we've seen it before, last time. Sorede wa matao. Well then, literally as for it being that, yeah, in the sense, then, well then, and then matao again, let's meet again. And yeah, again with A or B, we save, and yeah, we press 1. And yeah, with that we actually get an additional, again the staff. It's actually, as you can see, the graphic is different, but yeah, the credits themselves are still the same. So we simply let them pass. And after that, unfortunately, we didn't have the time to try to get the Articuno picture again, but oh well. We had a chance, incredibly enough, but yeah, unfortunately I missed it. Yeah, we are definitely... I went way past our usual hour to finally finish this series in this episode, and yeah, so we'll do that. And yeah, see, the credits are the same. But yeah, we get to see our pictures like this, so really nice. And yeah, as you can see, they're literally our best pictures for the various Pokémons. Yeah, we are already at special thanks. And yeah, so as soon as the credits end, close the game, I'll actually maybe quickly check if there's something, but I don't think Ox has anything else when we go back to it, to the game in this case. Yeah, we get the executive producer, which was Yamauchi Hiroshi in this case, president of Nintendo at the time. And yeah, we got to the logo. And yeah, so soon enough we should be able to go back to the title screen. Yeah, quickly save here. The state also. Yeah, quickly check. And yeah, we got this. I think we have already seen it before, but yeah, I'll quickly translate it anyway. Also today, it is that you implied should go to literally the photographing, as in to photograph, to the photographing of Pokemon. And yeah, of course, then again, Gambare, as in the imperative in plain speech of do your best, Toru. I think we had seen it before, but at least I translated it this way. Anyway, we save anyway. Oops, sorry. And yeah, press B and go back to the title screen. And then we'll finally close the game. And yeah, so today we've finally completed the game by getting the final Pokemon. We got to see the credits again, even though in a slightly with different images. And yeah, so we won't try again for that photo. Too bad, but oh well. So, now that this series is finished, next time, we should be on Friday, unless plans change, we play a new game. And considering that this was a pretty tough series, especially when it comes to the quantity of writings, we'll actually go for something less tough, which should have less writings especially. But yeah, without we'll play Kirby's Dream Land 1 and 2. But yeah, well, we'll start playing Kirby's Dream Land 1 and 2. Okay. See you next time.